This is your Sunday.
First up this morning, the National Party is on the hunt for a new leader. The caucus has, I believe, 10 days to decide. Amy Adams, the left-of-centre option, Simon Bridges, the youngest option, or Judith Collins, the crusher, the nuclear option. National Party leadership hopeful Judith Collins is with me in the studio. Good morning.
Oh, good morning, Ryan. I think you've got my theme song.
You're going to use it?
I reckon it's great.
Are you taking this to 2020?
I'm just thinking I might have to.
Welcome to the program. It's good to have you in here. I notice you've got, is it a new hairdo?
Yes, I decided to have a new hairdo.
And when did you decide that?
Oh, that was over Christmas.
Well, it looks very nice.
Oh, thank you, Ryan.
How many MPs have pledged their support to you?
Oh, quite a few. But let's put it this way. I'm not naming them, I'm not outing them, and I'm not doing the numbers because on the basis of, saying the numbers, because if we do, then you and the media will be very mischievous and you'll go around and try and cause all sorts of ructions.
Is it more than 10?
Well, let's put it this way. It's a good number.
You're looking confident and happy?
I'm confident and happy.
You wouldn't name... Is it safe to say that those who came out and support visually by standing behind Amy Adams aren't among those who have pledged their support to you?
I haven't... I'm not going to go through the details or anything, but I will say that you'll notice that neither Simon Bridges nor myself and any other MPs have come out saying who they're voting for. And people are playing their cards very close to their chest, as they should do. There's a secret vote for a reason.
And it's on the 27th of February.
It is.
So what have you got to do in the next 10 days to make sure that you are the National Party leader?
It's really important that I talk to all the MPs, and I'm getting around them and talking to them, and either on phone or in person. But it's also about saying to our base, our supporters, what we call our supporters, our members, they don't get a vote in this. It's not like the Labour Party or the Green Party where they get a vote.
Is that fair?
Well, it's the rules, and there's no point moaning about the rules because those are the rules.
Would you like them changed?
Well, I don't know about that, but I do know that MPs are always best to listen to their electorates and to their electorate committees, and certainly I always have. And probably one of the reasons that I've got pretty close to a 7.5 majority in a seat like a South Auckland seat of Papakura, which is very diverse. So listen to your people. And take that on board, because they're the people who will come out to volunteer for us, to support us, to donate, and actually to get out of bed to vote for us.
What's your strategy? Is your strategy to force caucus's hand by public groundswell, as some pundits have said?
Well, I think, no, my strategy is that I am not the status quo candidate. There is nothing status quo about me. I am actually the candidate who is not the person who would have been anointed by an outgoing leader in the last decade, basically. I'm the person who stirs up things and gets things going, but I'm also the person who appeals to the base. And what I'm saying to caucus colleagues is, if you want to win in 2020, your best shot is me, because I'm the person who will excite the base, who will get them going, to get people motivated, and I'll go back to them and say, what is it that you want changed in our policies? And that's what they want to do. And they also want someone who's going to take on the Prime Minister. Because, a lot of people in our party don't want to take on the Prime Minister, but actually that's not the role. The Prime Minister is a very formidable opponent, and she hasn't asked for any special treatment on the basis of gender or anything else. She wants to be treated as the Prime Minister, and on that basis I will do her the courtesy of doing exactly that. The
other contenders, Simon Bridges and Amy Adams, you think won't take her on, are fearful of taking her on?
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying I certainly am quite willing, and I've been proving that, to do exactly that. And if I was the leader of the National Party, I would continue to do that. And I tell you the other thing I would bring to the opposition, to the National Party, a real sense of fun. So I can say to my caucus colleagues, it will be a hell of a ride. And it will be so much fun, and you'll love every minute of it. Not too much fun, I hope, like Paula Bennett fun, because that seems to have gone... No, it's not my style. Paula's got a unique style, and I think, she does her job very well. But my style is very much the fun of the let's say it's slightly more gladiatorial.
Are you the rightist wing candidate up for nomination at the moment?
I think I'm probably the closest to the National Party base. And
is National a right wing party?
No, we're a centre right party. We're certainly not in our base a centre left party. If someone wants to be centre left, they'll go and vote for the Labour Party.
How would you describe Amy Adams' political leanings?
Well, I think she's in the National Party, and she'd have to explain her own leanings. But some of her policies and the way that she would frame them would be a little bit different from mine, but they're not wildly different. Is the National Party now too broad a church? No, we've got to be a broad church, but we've also got to be have a centre that feels very committed to us. What I say to people is, you don't win elections just by sitting on the fence. You can't win people over by saying, on the one hand this, on the other hand that. That's not the way it works. And if you sit on the fence, it's a very uncomfortable place to be. I grew up on a farm in the Waikato. I know what barbed wire fences are like. You get over them as fast as you can and you make your choice. So the other thing is, if you want to work, if I want to appeal to Labour voters or New Zealand First voters, pick me. Because,
why?
Well, look at me in Papakura. I have an electorate with 28% Maori, some of the lowest decile areas in the country in terms of schools. A lot of my schools are decile 1 schools. I have some of the richest people, some of the poorest people, middle people, all the way through. It's like a microcosm of New Zealand. But most people wouldn't go to Takanini and Papakura and say instantly, this has to be a national seat. You've got to be able to work across and to get cut through. And one of the things I found with people is most people actually really respect somebody who stands for something, and what they say they mean. And that's what they get with me.
What was National's biggest failure at the last election? Was it its inability to hear the public, to hear concerns about housing and about the environment and about those types of things? Or was it its inability to get on with its friends in Parliament?
There are several failings, but let's put it in perspective. A 44% vote is an outstanding achievement, and everyone in our party worked so hard for that. So we all worked hard, but the issue is we won all over the country. We won election battles, but what we lost was the war. And there's no point winning every battle if you're going to lose the war. We lost the war because we couldn't actually pull together a coalition. And we would have been in a better position to have got that coalition if we hadn't given away probably 3 or 4 points during the year to, say, New Zealand First or to Labour. And yes, we were up against a media frenzy, basically, particularly around Jacinda Ardern. She was so much more interesting than Andrew Little, to be perfectly frank. And I like Andrew personally, but let's be real. She's a media star. And we need to actually counter that with someone who can get airtime, who will turn up for the media, who will do the interviews, and who can actually get cut through.
On that score, Simon Bridges has declined to come on our program this morning here on Radio Live. Meanwhile, Amy Adams at first said she would appear on the program, but has since pulled out of the interview. Your thoughts?
More time for me, I'd say.
Do you think it's important? Why do you think they haven't showed up this morning?
I don't know why. I haven't discussed it with them. I'm not worried about what they're doing or not doing. What I am worried about is to make sure that I get as much messaging out there as I can to my caucus colleagues and to our National Party members.
In terms of allies around the Parliament, did National make a crucial mistake in leaking details about Winston Peters' superannuation?
I think that's something that's before the courts at the moment, so I wouldn't want to go down that track. And certainly I didn't know anything about it until it went out in the media.
Let's move on then and talk about what's happened this week. Amy Adams, of course, has announced her candidacy, as has Simon Bridges. Amy Adams was flanked by Nikki Kay, Chris Bishop, Tim McIndoe and Maggie Barry when she announced her candidacy. You said that caucus agreed on the advice of Bill English that, quote, we would not come out and be counted until after the vote. The party whip, Jamie Lee Ross, says that no caucus decision was made about that issue. So you are running for leader of the National Party. Do you even know the rules of engagement?
Yes, I do. I know the rules very well,
What
and
are?
I've taken the matter up with Jamie Lee Ross. So I wouldn't worry about that.
So Jamie Lee Ross was incorrect?
Well, I'm not going to go down the whole caucus processes of things, but you'll notice that no other MPs have come out publicly supporting either Simon Bridges or myself. And I think that that's an internal National Party issue, which I have already dealt with.
So what have you told Jamie Lee Ross?
Quite a lot, so that's enough.
You've sounded off.
No, I don't sound off. And one of the things people should know about me is I never raise my voice when I'm angry.
I've never heard you raise your voice.
No, I never do.
But I'm intrigued to know...
I do raise my voice if the Warriors ever get a try. I'm very excited then.
I am interested to know what you've said to Jamie Lee Ross, though.
No.
Did Jamie Lee Ross misinterpret what the caucus had decided? Or were you talking about a directive from Bill English rather than an official caucus decision?
I'm not going to go down the track of that because actually it's just a distraction, and what I'm really interested in is actually what's important for New Zealand, and any internal workings and process in the National Party are entirely nothing to do with that.
Will the next leader of the National Party be a caretaker leader? Will they really see it through to beat Jacinda?
Well, I won't be a caretaker leader. That's for certain.
Stephen Joyce and Mark Mitchell, do you think they'll throw their hats in the ring?
You'd have to ask them. They're big boys, got cell phones, can make their own decisions. Put the big boy pants on and you'll be fine.
Would you welcome competition from the two of them?
Well, whatever. I mean, the fact is there's no point us having an election and a vote on the 27th of February if we then have people who are disgruntled because they didn't put their name forward. But I also say you're master of your own destiny. If you want to put your name forward, put your name forward. If you don't want to do it, then don't. And whoever comes out as the leader should be able to count on the support of their entire caucus. And without that support, then they really will be a caretaker leader.
The deputy leadership, would you ever take it?
It's not up to me to decide because I think it's really important for whoever is the leader to be able to indicate their preference. And it is, however, a vote by caucus. But you don't really want to foist a deputy leader onto a leader if they're not someone that they're happy to work with. I think you've got to put the party first.
Jacinda Ardern's pregnancy is making global headlines around the world. She's incredibly popular. She's going to have a baby very soon. What lengths will you go to beat her in 2020? Will you have a child?
It's possibly a little late, but I suppose I could have a miracle, and the baby could be called Miracle Collins, Wongtung. It'd be great. I might get a new puppy or something like that. I don't know. No, let's be real here. I think Jacinda Ardern is utterly playing to her strengths. And I think, the Vogue shoots and all that, I looked at it and I thought, is that bad for New Zealand? No, I don't think so. I think it's good for New Zealand. It's giving us publicity in a tourist market like the United States. For even get people in the United States to know that there is a place called New Zealand that's not attached to Greenland is actually a big deal. So I think, good on her. She's playing to her strengths. I mean, she could be a fashion model, frankly.
So how on earth do you beat her?
Well, I beat her by a couple of things. First off, I beat her by holding her to account for the very job that she asked for, which is Prime Minister of New Zealand. I also beat her by holding her coalition partners to account for their promises that they've made and the fact that we have a New Zealand First Party that so dislikes the Greens that they can't even sit by them in Parliament. But even worse than that, will not acknowledge that the Greens are part of the coalition, which is really weird when you've got the Greens having ministers in the government. So it's just those are opportunities there. But the other thing, how I'd beat her, is I'd go after some of her vote. Not the soft fluffy vote that likes the soft fluffy things, but actually the red meat vote. The working people who are working the panel beaters and places like that. The people who actually probably don't read Vogue much at all, if ever, and the people who just go to work, pay their taxes, grind out their life, trying to get a house, all those sorts of things. Those are the people that I'd go after in her vote.
How many meetings or phone calls have you got with colleagues today?
Oh, quite some. I'm not going to tell you, Ryan. Come on, you're so sneaky. You're as sneaky as Duncan Garner. You're always trying to trick me.
Judith Collins, the Crusher. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Godspeed. You've got 10 days.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll do your best to get the job done, but we will wait and see what the outcome is.
Well, Ryan, my view is we've decided to do this on the 27th of February, and no matter what, we're going to do it on the 27th of February because that's what I'm committed to. I said I'd do it, and that's what I'm doing.
Will this be your final go at the leadership?
Well, only if I'm successful.
Otherwise, there may be more. Watch out.
Well, we'll wait and see, won't we?